Hello and welcome to DCG's development update. We are here to share what we've done in the past 2 weeks. And if you have any questions during the update, please use a Q or a question prefix and post them in the live chat below. And we will have a dedicated Q&A session and we'll be answering those there. So please stick around. We will have a quite long session today as we deliver some fantastic features. And we will have a small executive summary at the beginning. Without further ado, let's jump in. Let me find the sharing button and let's go. Sam, would you kick us off?
Yep, excellent. Yeah, so the focus for the last 2 weeks, other than having a good new year that I hope everybody in the team had, was focusing on the release of 3.0, or the latest platform version, and also Dash SPV. So on the address system, we had me, Lukasz, Ivan, and Paul. I also worked a little bit in GroveDB. Paul worked a little bit on the client, well, a lot on the client actually. Dash Evo tool to get address system working there. And Dustin Face and Bora worked on Rust Dash Core. Ivan also did a lot of work in JS SDK. Today, we're actually going to start talking about the platform address system. And this was what we had 2 weeks ago. Basically, how can we keep address queries anonymous? And I talked about how we're introducing progressive GroveDB querying. And I kind of alluded to how the system works. We're going to dive a little bit more into it this week, and we're going to kind of show everybody it working in practice. So let's go into the next slide. And yes, so we are introducing Blast Sync. The name has been chosen for this type of sync, blockchain layered address sync tree. And it is fast, and I'm going to talk a lot about it today. So let's go in. So basically, there are 4 components to the sync. There is the trunk, the branch, the compacted recent, and the recent addresses. So even though there are 4 sync steps, these 4 sync steps happen really, really fast. Basically, the compacted recent is 1 query to platform generally. The recent is probably 1 query as well. The trunk is 1 query, and the branches can be, many queries, sometimes like 40, 50 queries. But it happens in a really, really quick amount of time. As we can see on the right, I made a lot of diagrams today. So when a client wants to sync their platform addresses, remember, we're doing all of this to be for clients to do this sync anonymously. So in a decentralized way, without the nodes you are asking the information to knowing the addresses that you want to look for. So let's say you have in your wallet 500 addresses. You're going to want to know the balance of those addresses. Actually, let's imagine you have an HD wallet, and so you don't even know how many addresses are used in the system, but you progressively query your addresses up and continuously query more and more addresses in your HD wallet until you're fully synced, right? That's the goal. And the process is basically you fetch the trunk state, and I'm going to talk about that. Then if you have branches, you'll fetch branches. Then you'll fetch a compacted recent addresses, which is kind of like a chain tip of address changes that are compacted, and then just the very, very recent blocks of addresses. So then you're fully synced. Now let's go on, and I'm going to kind of talk a little bit more about this. But before that, we are going to show a demo of unstoppable BTC wallet sync. Now, this is kind of a comparison. Why did we choose this? It basically is to show that in the industry, like if you go directly against a blockchain, this is how quickly sync takes. So this is a video, it's happening right now. Yeah, we're just gonna, it's
Yeah,
you're just gonna watch it
yeah, just a backup. It immediately doesn't start the sync, so I just restart the application
to show
and
it. Yeah.
to show it, and it starts the syncing. So you can see it starts sync. The progress, I just go into halftime. So in halftime, it 4 minutes left. I mean, yeah, 4 minutes. We are 4 minutes in, and we are at 1%. And if we are like 9%, 9 minutes in, and we are at 3%. So we
Yeah.
are 9 minutes in, and we are 3% sync. You can see.
Yeah. And Unstoppable Wallet is one of the leading industry wallets. If you've used them before and you're like, wait, but I've used it and it's really fast. Well, actually, in settings, there are different ways that you can use BTC or the various cryptos it supports, and the default is actually using a centralized service that you just query your addresses from, but there's no privacy there, right? So they give you the option in Unstoppable Wallet, BTC Wallet, to decide if you want to have privacy against the node, against a centralized service. And if you do want the privacy, well, it takes a long time. And that's just how blockchain SPV sync works. It's similar in Dash. We try to do whatever we can to speed it up. But I just wanted to show like that's just what happens on a UTXO chain. So, we building out a sync system in platform, we had a lot of new technologies, right? We've had Grove DB, and then thinking of how we could sync. I'm going to kind of go into this a little bit later, but we want the experience for the user to be as if they're using a centralized service, but at the same time, well, not use a centralized service, and also maintain privacy. So, I'll get into that, but before that, we're just gonna do a live demo of it actually working. So, Paul, you want to show it?
Yes. Thank you. Okay, so in Dash Evo tool, I'll go over my slide later, and I want to, oh great, low battery. I want to show some other things in Dash Evo tool, but I'll demo that later. But basically, yeah, now we have platform addresses in the wallet screen. And you can see here platform balance is 0 because we haven't synced yet. And here in the accounts drop down, there's no platform account. So when I click refresh up here, it's going to fetch all of our address balances for the entire wallet, not just platform.
But
But
you haven't clicked it, right? You haven't clicked it yet.
not yet. No.
Okay, when you click it, we're gonna do a countdown to see how long it takes.
Sure. I also have the logs. Oh, I should probably share my whole screen so you can see the logs. But Yeah, you can see it's you can see how fast it is. Okay,
Also,
I'll press it now. Sorry.
well, when we just caveat, when we release this, most likely we won't have like you force the users to press refresh, right? Right now we're showing you we don't want it to be automatic because we want people to see how quick it is. Okay, go ahead, press it.
Right. Okay. Yeah, so pressed it and you can see the spinner.
1, 2, 3, 4. There we go. 4 seconds it took.
Yes.
And
Now you
and
can the platform account
yep.
and it synced 8 addresses in 4 seconds.
Yeah, yes, but it didn't actually like we have to understand that it didn't query these 8 addresses and figure out like what the balances of these 8 addresses were. Instead, actually, you should look through the logs now. Show people the logs.
Sure. Let me just I have to unshare and share.
Sure, sure, sure.
Here's the logs. From here, platform address sync start,
Wait,
1252.
it's still loading the screen. Okay. Now it's good.
Can you see?
We see. Yep.
Yeah. So it was only 3 seconds actually.
Oh,
The other 1 second was probably fetching core balances.
yeah. Do you? Oh, yeah. So basically, it did a initial trunk query sync, and then it did 19 leaf syncs. So it actually it queried no, it queried 19. It sent 19 queries to 19 different nodes actually, and then it sent another 16 queries on a second iteration, and then it did another 2 queries. So it did 19 plus 16 plus 2 plus 1 total queries in 4 seconds. Um, so yeah, I mean, very quick, very, very quick. And all of those returns were approved using checkpoints. And yeah, the whole system works. So it's very, very, very nice to see this working because it's a massive upgrade to our system. And later down the line, we can also use it for various components and new features that we're going to have. So I'm going to talk a little bit more about the system first, and then later down the line, Paul, you can show the other features, okay? In Dash Evo tool. Does that work?
Yeah, yeah.
Cool. Balash, you want to share again?
Can you see my screen?
Oh yeah,
Can
I
you not?
can. Sure.
So we were here, and that's the
Okay.
next slide, is it?
Yeah, yeah, sure. So last time maybe it wasn't very explanatory of like how the sync actually works. So I'm going to go a little bit more in depth. So here we just have a sample of addresses, right? I made this diagram by creating addresses from 0 to 10,000, right? And putting a random subset inside. So, in a tree, you're gonna in our Merkle tree, you're gonna have addresses that are just kind of pseudo randomly in the tree, right? So since the tree is balanced, if you had 10,000 addresses, the middle address would be, the root would be somewhere in the middle, right? So in this case, the address is 5,128, which is somewhere in the middle of 10,000. And, um, you know, so what happens is you start by querying the trunk. Um, right here, we only have 4 layers, four depth of this trunk. In reality, the depth of the trunk is around 7 or 8 layers deep, right? It's actually variable depending on the size of the tree, and the system automatically selects something between 6 and 9 deep um, to maintain good efficiency. But in this case, for the demo, to explain the system, I just created something with 4. So let's imagine you're looking for an address in the tree. So you start by querying the trunk. Okay, let's go to the next slide. And the address that we're looking for is 4551. And yeah, down here, 44551. And what is 4551? Well, it's bigger than the one on the top, which is 4205, and it's smaller than the one on the right, which is 5834. So we know that if we queried the right side of 4205 and the left side of 4834, then if the address exists, it would be in there. It might not be in there because the address might not exist at all, and we get a non-existence proof for that. But if it does exist, it would be between those two. So if we're only looking for that address, you would query the trunk and you would query the address 4205 and 5834, but you wouldn't have to query any of the other leaves because why would you? You know that they're not the address that you're looking for is not under those leaves. And that's kind of how the sync works. So basically, taking sub areas of the state that you are interested in while discarding others. And how does this preserve anonymity? Well, when you're searching for 4551, you're getting a big block of addresses that might be something you care about or might not. The node that's sending you 255 addresses, for example, doesn't know which one is yours. For example, if 4551 is on the left of 5834, but is not on the right of 4205, well, you queried both. You're going to get nothing that you care about in 4205 underneath it. And well, so the node really has the nodes that you're querying to really have no way of knowing what you're really interested in. They're just giving you chunks of address state. And you're able to do this because this is actually using a provable count sum tree, which is a new thing in version 3.0 as well, that has the count of the amount of sub-elements inside the proof. So on each node, you can know provably how many sub-elements there are, and then you can automatically adjust your depth of the branch search to keep anonymity. It goes much more in depth on like how to preserve anonymity, but we're taking it very seriously. So yeah, that's kind of how it works. Do I have another? Oh yeah. Then basically on top of that, there is the terminal sync. So once you've you've synced to the checkpoint, checkpoints happen actually every 10 minutes. So you've synced to a checkpoint, and now you need to basically get the updates from that checkpoint. So let's imagine the last checkpoint was 7 minutes ago, and you've synced till then. Okay, now what has happened in the last 7 minutes? Now the system could be heavily used, right? Like thousands of transactions per second. So you don't want to have to sync all the blocks because syncing all the blocks could actually be heavy, even if it's only 7 minutes worth of blocks in high usage. Right now, obviously we could just get away with just syncing the blocks and giving those to clients. But instead, what we do is we compact block ranges in order to basically improve the efficiency of the system. So after the branch queries, then we go on to compact block addresses, and this basically merges over a block range all the updates to addresses in those addresses. And for example, if you were to add 1 dash and then remove 0.5 dash, and then set the balance after that to a certain amount, and the system knows that it's that amount, then you don't need to know about the adds, because at the end of the block, it is, you know, the value of the address. Anyways, more more work went into this, and a lot of thought went into this, and it works very well. So let's go on. Yeah, so kind of explaining the terminal address compaction. So what is the compaction? You merge multiple per block address balance changes into a single combined entry. It reduces the storage and sync bandwidth while preserving provability. Like why it happens? Let's imagine you have 1,000 blocks with changes. It can go into one compacted entry. It improves the sync speed. It reduces proof size, and it improves network scalability. So currently, when do we do compaction? We do compaction every 64 blocks or every 2048 address changes. And this is version, so we can change it later. Yeah, terminal compact addresses stay for 1 week. So if the client has synced recently, let's imagine they did a trunk and branch sync. The trunk and branch sync takes, you know, as we saw earlier, it was like 19 plus 16 plus 2 queries. What is that? 30, 37 queries. Okay, it takes 37 queries to the system, which is actually pretty heavy, 37 queries. But with compact addresses, you might do a lot less. So for example, if a client synced 3 days ago, they wouldn't do a trunk and branch sync. They would just take their current system where they're at and do a terminal compact address sync from 3 days ago, and that would most likely be faster for them. So even something like 7 seconds or whatever time it takes, sometimes we want to make that faster. Let's make it faster, right? Let's have it only 2 seconds or 3 seconds, and that's what this does. So let's go on. Okay, well, that's all about Blast. Now I'm going to talk quickly about what else we did. So Ivan worked heavily on SDK. A lot of stuff around platform addresses in JS SDK are now done. The state transitions for all the platform addresses have been built into the JS SDK. We fixed proof validation in a few JS SDK methods. Yeah, there's now local network support for JS SDK. A lot of things that developers are going to like. The conversion methods for JS DBP entities is now merged in. So that's going to be nice, and that will be in 3.0. Just a lot of stuff is done, and we're kind of wrapping things up. There's one last PR that needs to be merged in for the JS SDK, I think for 3.0. So going well there. And I think we're going to go back to you, Paul.
Cool, thank you. Yeah, I was only around for 1 week of the sprint. This time I went skiing in Japan for New Year's. It was super nice. But before that, I just got back on Tuesday, but before that, I spent most of the time going through GitHub issues actually, and preparing DET for like the next release. Taking a lot of user feedback, especially about like UX, and making it easier for like non-developers to figure stuff out. If Ryan, you're listening, I appreciated your GitHub issues. They're very in depth, and I spent at least a full day on one of them. They were good. They were good reviews, and yeah. So let me share my. Can I share my screen, please? Let's see. Dash Evo tool. Sorry, it's super late for me. I'm very tired. Still on a different time zone. But okay, so Dash Pay screens are all working. They should be working with SPV, but SPV is work in progress for now. So things are changing there, and it won't be included in the next release, like payment history stuff. But profiles, contacts, profile search will be, and a lot of what I'm focusing on or was focusing on this sprint is like making things super clear and super easy for first time users, or just like basically non-developer users, to navigate Dash Evo tool. So like so first of all, a first time user, we have a new welcome screen, which I don't have showing here, but it will like guide them to create a wallet and then create an identity, register a name, and stuff like that. But what we're looking at here is like the My Profile on the Dash Pay screen. You know, you have no identities loaded, so it basically guides you to load an identity, and then from there you can create a profile and stuff. So hopefully that makes it easier for people to figure out. And then I want to go into here, create identity. Something that I added to a lot of these like action screens is this show advanced options. So if it's not checked, the flow should be like very simple, like as basic as it can be. So like you can select a wallet, uh, select how you want to fund the identity, and enter a amount. But if you click this advanced options thing, you can basically configure the, you know, Dash Evo tool is originally like a developer tool. So we want to enable everything. So you can select identity index, key selection mode. This was, I believe it or not, I spent way too long making this look nice. The Rust UI tools are not super nice. But yeah, you can configure like what your keys and stuff. So yeah, I added that for like most of the action screens. I probably still have a few more to do. But let me create an identity quick to show you the next thing, which is the token creator. I know this was super confusing before with like all the advanced options, but now the basic flow should be easier for people to figure out. You just enter like these simple things, and then we have these presets, which are all described if you click the info button. Yeah, so hopefully that makes things easier for people. Let me see, is there anything else? Not really. Added platform addresses, all the platform address state transitions. Yeah, so let me stop sharing, and I'll stop sharing. Balazs, could you go back to the slide? Thank you. Yeah, that pretty much covers it. I also added platform address strategy tests in the TUI and did some improvements in the TUI so that we could test platform addresses. Yeah, that's all. Thank you guys. Happy New Year.
Yeah, thanks so much, Paul. Sorry it's so late for you.
No problem.
Yeah, so version 3, where are we? So we're at a feature freeze. Our DevNet testing has revealed issues that most have been solved. We also found a non-determinism that hasn't been found yet, hasn't been solved yet. So that's the big issue that we're trying to that we still need to solve. The blast sync trunk and branch sync, it's shown to work in Dash Google tool. We saw it today. We are on 3.0.0 dev 11. Typically, we've had on major releases up to dev 18. So, we might have a few more dev versions, but sometimes it's been up to dev 8. So we're getting close um, to being done there. We also released Grove DB 4.0. And let's go to the next slide. So what's left? We need more testing. We've still, even today, we've revealed issues. And we need more testing. Last client sync testing for recent addresses. We also, once we're satisfied that we can't find anything else that's wrong, we're going to be moving to testnet testing. We also have to make sure the WASM and iOS SDKs are feature complete for Blast Sync. We have to update the iOS SDK for version 0.41 of Rust Dash Core. So that's pretty much it for 3.0. And, we're very excited about this release. Things are coming together, especially around this time of the year where, in the last 2 weeks, there was a lot of time off, but even with that, we've made a lot of progress.
Thank you. Let's move on to mobile/SPV.
Sure.
Yes.
Oh, sorry. Right here.
Yep. We're going to start with SPV. Platform, there was so much to talk about. We migrated the SPV section into mobile. So, Borka, I believe this slide is from Kevin, though.
Yeah, this one is Kevin's slide. Yeah, well, hi everyone. Today Kevin is not with us, so I'm gonna explain what he have done these 2 weeks. So basically, he have been working on the CI overhaul. Everything is merged right now related to the CI. And he also prepared the release for the 0.41. And he is continued to work with the synchro write is about to be finished. So hopefully this week we have the new sync process fixing a lot of issues that are in the old one. Hopefully. And yeah, he also continue with cleaning the code base and more dead code, and finalize and fix some bugs in the wallet. Yeah, that will be it. Now if you can go with my slide. And
If you
okay, the
follow,
next,
if you follow on YouTube, we have a delay on YouTube.
yeah,
so
I know, I'm watching
okay.
the Zoom here on my left. Okay, and now this one is mine. I was basically working on splitting the logic, well, splitting the storage logic because right now the peers were being persisted in the wrong place. So I wanted to move that to the storage, and for that I needed to make something cleaner. That was done pretty fast. The peers now are being persisted where it should be. Also, I committed a change that fixed an issue where block header sync was not working as expected. This fix was more a side effect than other thing. After various cleanups and also changes that Kevin has done for sure, the block header sync is working after a restart. It's not something that matters right now because we are rewriting the sync. So, but it's something nice to have. And currently, I'm working on enabling more tests and improving the test suites by cleaning up and reusing existing code. So that would be my next days. Well, I will be spending the next days working on that. And yeah, we expect to have the new sync processing 1 week or less and start working and checking if there is any issue or if we have everything solved so we can go with the iOS app with a demo. And yeah,
Thank you very much. Let's
you're
move
welcome.
on to mobile.
That's me. All right. So most work was done on Android this past sprint. Dual usernames. We were wrapping up the final work on that on the restoration aspect. Did some sync improvements for the next version as well, both on the platform and core side. We had some issue that's been kind of persisting and slowly gaining in relevance relating to what we call lost password. It's essentially some of our keys were getting corrupt, so we needed a way to handle that and move to a new system. We're looking to continue making sync improvements, some being adding a start date. We already had a start date when we did a resync. We just didn't have it when we were initially loading up a passphrase. And then looking into reverse sync. So this actually it's more of a spike or investigation, no implementation here. Just looking into potentially adding a reverse sync option. So syncing the most recent transactions first, and then ultimately going back to kind of a traditional sync, but giving people a better opportunity to use their wallet sooner rather than later. And then, yeah, there was some messaging around that lost password as well. For iOS, we had a request from Piggy Cards to hide their particular service in Russia and Cuba. So we got that finished, got most of the testing done, had some help from the community for people in country, but that turned out pretty well. The same will be done on Android, and that will go out in the next release for iOS, along with a couple other small fixes. So that's it on mobile.
Alrighty, sounds good. So we've got some cool stuff on core side, and then I have some cool stuff that I've been playing with that I'm going to show off as well. So first off, V23 adoption is enforced, you could say. Basically, everyone is running V23 now. If you're not running V23, you've been proof of service banned, and you should probably resolve that. That's pretty much all there is to say there. We can move on to the next slide. Number of cool things were done this week. We merged in some improvements to how we propagate transactions from masternodes to non-masternodes to improve kind of network level privacy. Descriptor wallets are now considered non-experimental. They have the full faith and backing of the development team. They've been around for multiple major releases now, and multiple developers use them primarily, and we've had kind of no issues. And of course, this is something that we kind of inherited from Bitcoin. So it's cool to see that kind of get finalized. Some improvements have been made to our kind of LMQ architecture. We want to overall have a better architecture, splitting domains of concern. So maybe we have networking code and then we have consensus code, and keeping them separate. Masternode and LMQ logic is very integrated right now. It's very coupled. And so we've been working to kind of break that apart and have separate kind of contexts and handling for the consensus level and consensus related stuff, and then the network related stuff. Some CI improvements were done with some caching. Still working on merging some exponential backups. We had some review on that today and got some feedback, so we'll see where that goes. I did not really spend much time on Wayland stuff. We'll see if this is something that we continue with, or if we just close it. It seems like we might need to increase our Qt version, which is our main dependency for the GUI, to version 6 to be able to properly support Wayland. So this might be something that was a little premature. We'll see. We also did some more CI work to move some of our longest running jobs over to ARM runners. They run a little bit quicker on ARM, and this allows us to have a little bit more performance CI. All right, we can move on to the next slide here. You can see some backport progress. I don't really have much to say here, but if you're tracking it, here it is. You can see the list of PRs here. Pretty much talked about most things here. There are some improvements or fixes for external signers, which is kind of the experimental stuff for being able to use like hardware wallets inside of Core. Some CI improvements. I talked about those, some other small things, but nothing too crazy. And then I am going to move on to what I guess I'm calling Hackathon January. Don't know how long it's going to last. Maybe it's only the first 2 weeks. But I was on a podcast with Joel a couple of weeks ago, and there were some fun discussions about kind of things that we'd like to see and that kind of thing. And so I started, okay, let's just start making some cool things. Let's just start using the tools, start seeing what we can do. Try to build cool things, find issues in the tooling, find issues in the ecosystem, and try to resolve them. And there have been 3 kind of main projects that have came out of that so far. A faucet, a bridge, and then Yapper. And I'm going to talk about all 3 of those. So we can continue to the next slide. So first, the faucet, obviously very simple. You can either get T-Dash or you can make a platform identity. The existing faucet was annoying me for quite some time, and I decided to just do something about it. So fast, non-interactive CAPTCHA, it just happens for you. Your computer does some proof of work, and that's basically the CAPTCHA. One-click platform identity creation, which is very cool, and proper rate limiting so that people don't, steal all my test dash. Only thing really missing that I might improve to this service is the ability to get a masternode amount of testnet funds. That's the only thing that kind of hasn't been done so far. But other than that, this product is basically complete. It works really well. You can go to it today. I'll probably show it off in the interactive demo, but it is also a very nice way to get a one-click Dash platform identity. Don't have to download DET, don't have to download an app. This only works on testnet, but if you just need a quick testnet identity that has some credits, you can just click it, you get your identity, you get your keys. Very nice. So moving on to the next slide, this is the bridge. So this is kind of, I built the faucet first, and then I said, okay, what else would I want to do? And can I do it without having to maintain a backend? Those were the 2 main goals. So it's kind of a one-stop shop for platform needs. Basically, it was, what do I need to do to like experiment and do things without having to deal with Dash Evo Tool? Sounds like Dash Evo Tool is getting some amazing improvements and is becoming more user-friendly. And especially SPV coming to it will be very, very nice and make things a lot easier. Because I do like the core development, it it was always kind of annoying getting it to talk to core properly. And so I just never really liked using it. It was always kind of annoying for me. So I built this, and this is, everything happens locally. The only dependencies that it has is the Insight API, and the RPC .digital cache.dev, which is another API. It uses the digital cache dev API to get the instance unlock, and it uses Insight to like figure out what your UTXOs are and that kind of thing. So not fully like decentralized by any means, but all operations happen locally, all the transactions get built locally, everything like that. Fully non-custodial and permissionless, it's easy to use. And the nice part is because right, the faucet, I can never have support mainnet because I hold those funds, and I can't do stuff with that right on mainnet. But with this, since it's completely non-custodial, it's able to support both mainnet and testnet. So super duper cool. You can see on the right side here kind of the main things that it does. You can create a new identity. You can top up or add credits to an existing identity. You can register usernames, and you can manage identity keys. I'm generally considering this a complete product at this point. We could add more things here. I kind of asked Joelle and thought myself, like, what are the main things that are pain points that I need to do on identities or deal with? And these were the main things. So moving on to the next slide here, you can see briefly, this is the flow for creating an identity on the bridge. You say you want to create an identity. You can set some of your key types and key levels. And it gives you a QR code to send some dash to. And again, all of this happens locally. All of this generation and everything happens locally. You can copy the address to send some funds to, or you can scan the QR code. And then it also gives you your recovery seed, which is how your keys are generated. This should use all of the same derivation paths as Dash Pay. So in theory, if you have an identity with this seed, you could import it into Dash Pay and it should work fine. I haven't tested that. Don't rely on that, but in theory, it should work. And then you send funds to that QR code or that address, and then it makes the identity and gives you your keys, and you can register a username there. The next thing, I've been busy. It's been like a week or a week and a half or 2 weeks since, definitely no earlier than Christmas, probably like the 30th. The next thing is Yapper. So this is a product that Sam started out demoing, and I don't remember honestly the state that it was in at the time. I know it wasn't deployed anywhere. You
Not
couldn't
good.
use it. I don't know what things work. I think you could post to it because you have posts on the original contract that we still use. And a lot of things were stubbed or mocked out, right? Like all of like hashtags didn't work. Like I don't think DMs worked. Basically, very little worked, but you could make posts and it was a cool demo, right? Now it is a semi-usable, semi-fine beta product. So a lot of things are working very well. Going over a few things, right? Fully decentralized, all data lives on platform. There's no backend, there's no centralized server. If you have the code to run it, which you can just clone and run, you can always use Yapper, right? There's no backend besides Dash platform itself. Twitter like social features, everyone knows what that means. You can have threaded conversations, you can like, post, reply, quote posts, etc. Some of the UI around that is a little funky still, but for the most part, all of that's fully supported. Encrypted DMs. This is an area where there should probably be some improvements. It completely works. And the latest system is pretty nice and pretty robust, but there's a couple of things related to it that probably could be improved to be a little bit more signal-like in the lower level cryptography. Right now, we derive a shared secret based on the keys that we both have. And then from there, we use that shared secret to encrypt forever. This isn't great. You want a key that rotates. You want, like, I forget all of the terms. I think forward secrecy is kind of the term. Right. But you want, if a key gets leaked, you don't want that to give all of the history away. You want to have kind of rotating keys over time. DPNS usernames are fully integrated into the service. I think Sam had this when he did this. You can send tips. So you can send Dash directly as a post. Some of this tips need some improvements to the SDK to make them more robust. Right now, a user could totally lie and say, I tipped Sam $1 million Dash. And the UI would say, whoa, that's so generous. He tipped you $1 million Dash. Right now, there's not a way to basically fetch a transaction on platform using the SDK. I think this is possible. I need to talk to Sam and Ivan a little bit more to make sure that this is a use case that platform supports. But I think it's possible. But the SDK doesn't allow us to do that right now. Has some nice avatars that you can customize using a library that gives you deterministic avatars. It lets you block users, which is pretty cool. Long term, you could, I haven't built this feature in yet. This is one of the things I'm thinking about. You could have basically moderators that you listen to and subscribe to. And so you could say, okay, I like this moderator. They do a really good job at, making sure I don't see a bunch of porn or whatever, which would be hard because there's no images, but maybe, you don't want to see certain types of posts, right? And so you can subscribe, you would be able to subscribe to a moderator's list of blocked people, and you could listen to those blocks, right? It has a following feed. So one of the harder things, Sam said this wasn't possible, but I proved him wrong. And I'll show that in a couple of minutes. But not just you can see the global feed, but you can see a feed specific to who you're following. And it also has full hashtag support, which is very cool. And of course, it's fully built on Dash platform. You own all your data. There's no algorithm. There's no banning really or anything like that. Everything is up to you and whatever you do. So time to make sure I can share. I really should have tested this before, but it should work. And I will show off Yapper. Okay. All right. Do we see things?
Yes, prove me wrong, please.
Okay, awesome. All right, just gonna move this a little bit. All right, so you can go to yapper.thepasta.org right now and go along with me. If you go there, this is the homepage that you'll see. You can see, and I'll just reload this so that you can see kind of how long stuff takes to load. You can see the total posts. You can see the active users. You can kind of see who's been posting a lot, and you can even see the most popular posts. Some of these things are not forever. If you have 1 million posts, I don't think you would be able to see the most popular posts forever. But in the most recent posts, or the last 2 weeks, or the last couple hundred, you can see the most popular posts, and that's what we do right now. Okay, so we can go ahead and you can explore public posts without logging in. You can scroll through, but I'm going to go ahead and log in. So I'm going to say get started. And now I'm like, oh, dang it, I don't have an identity. Okay, well, no worries. Let's go to the bridge. So this is the bridge that I talked about earlier. I'm going to create a new testnet identity. All of the keys are just fine. And then it gives me this address. You can steal my account if you want to. I don't care. So it gives me this address. I'm going to use the faucet to send to it. So I'm going to go to the faucet, paste in my address, click send, does a little CAPTCHA, it's sent. Go back here, it's creating my identity. And then boom, I have my identity. So I'm going to go ahead and download my keys, and I'll open those up in another tab. And I'm going to grab my identity ID. So going back to Yapper, I can go ahead and paste in my identity ID. Then I'm going to grab my authentication key. And this is your high authentication key. And I'm going to paste that in. So you go to sign in. The first thing that it says is you have the ability to back up your the private key that you put in with a password. This is kind of an experimental thing that I was playing around with to see if it would work and make sense. This isn't the best security, right? Using a key is 1,000,000 times better than encrypting a key with a password. But if you want, you can enter a password. And you can change how long it takes to decrypt. The longer you make it, the more resilient it is against brute forcing. I understand that anyone with my password can access my private key from the public backup, and then I can back that up. So this will encrypt it and put it on chain. And then there's my identity. I can register a username, and I can say live on, what do we call this? Sprint review. So I can register this username, and then I can say this is a test account for the demo online. You don't have to fill out these things, but you can. And then we can create the profile. Boom, we're in. All right, let's go ahead and take a look at Platform Explorer and see what some of that looked like. So we can look at the recent history here. And so this was me creating the identity. I'll just open these really briefly. So this was creating the identity. Awesome, makes sense. This was creating the encrypted key backup. So you can see like the encrypted key. You can see kind of, right, this is the initial state for the encryption. This is how many times kind of the KDF did its thing. And cool. This is registering my domain, my DPNS name. This is the second thing to register my DPNS name. This is setting my bio. This is a test account for the demo. And boom, that's it. So now we're logged in. Let's make a post. This is my first post. I'm so excited. Hashtag dash. So boom, post is done. You can see my my kind of profile name here. Interestingly, you can see here it has my identity ID. Why is that? I registered a DPNS name, right? Well, I didn't get it yet. That was a contested DPNS name, and so I haven't gotten it yet. In a day or two, this will update to be the DPNS name that I requested. So that was my first post. Let's click on the hashtag. Let's see what other posts we've got. So other posts under dash, you can see these other posts by people. Super cool, super fun. Some tests, that kind of thing. We can go back to the main page. Let's go ahead and scroll through this a little bit. Oh, Linksy boy, Joel, he's super cool. I'm gonna follow him. Awesome, now I'm following him. I don't like that post, so I'm not gonna like it. Oh, Pasta, he's pretty cool. I'm gonna follow him, and I'm gonna like these two posts. Boom, done. I think I followed Joel. It doesn't show yet. If I go in here, maybe it'll show. Yeah, okay. So go to a new page, it updates that state. So awesome. So those were the posts that I liked. Dark mode is super cool. We're in it right now. The Sam was talking earlier about 36 requests being pretty heavy or something. Right now the homepage uses 22, so that's pretty cool. It's down a lot from 56. And it's loading a lot of stuff, right? All of these likes are different contracts, all of the posts are different documents, right? So we're doing a lot of bundling to make sure that we're being kind of a good citizen and we're not using too many requests. Every once in a while, testnet platform is a little flaky and takes some time, it seems. So that, like, for whatever reason, the DAPI node that I was connected to, maybe it's down, I don't know. But the like didn't go through, but I think this one did. Let's just reload this page and see if those went through. So yeah, they went through. Deployed latest versions, cool. We're gonna load some more. We're gonna go down. Oh, someone sent a tip. That's super cool. You can see it's unverified. We're waiting for SDK support on that. Someone replied. Who replied? I can click in, see, oh, he asked, what is NH? Okay, cool, fun. Cool, so let's load more. Let's go down. Splawick, he's cool. I'll follow him. I don't want to see this guy. Test tipper, what the heck? Block him. Okay, blocked. Let's reload the page. Okay. So now we can scroll back down and we won't see test tipper anymore. And that's nice. Not a pasta. I don't know who that is, but he seems cool. I'll follow him. So we can go down. I just want to get down to the end to grab one of Sam's early posts. So I'll skip through a bunch of these. just because I want to. So these are Sam's very early posts. This is the very first post, and so I'm going to follow him. The real Slim Shady. And as you can see, I haven't migrated contracts. This is the same contract from the original version. There are some hacks that I've had to do to make things work properly with that initial contract that was deployed. There were a couple of issues, but I didn't want to lose some of this history, and I didn't want to have to query multiple contracts. So when it goes to mainnet, I'll kind of bring the contract in a nicer state and bring things together. So let's go to my following tab now. Now that I've followed some people, I know what's going on. We can go over to the following tab. It loads. Oh, awesome, Splawik. Thank you. Let him get some more spaghetti. So generous. Buy yourself something nice, like some spaghetti. We love that. Splawik and Joel are nice and busy, it seems, and I'm seeing their latest post because I'm following them. Good job on the call. Awesome. So we can go down and you can see it's just the couple of people that I followed, right? There's not all of the test posts. There's not everything like that. It's just the people that I followed. And we can scroll down. And we can load some more. And then we can see the very early original posts from Sam. We can try to load some more. And then it says basically we're done. So that's super cool. One more thing, bookmarks also work. They don't, I don't know if this page works. Hey, it does. Awesome. So bookmarks work. You can see everything that you are bookmarked to right here. So the other thing I want to, there's so much to show off. Sorry, Balash, I'm going to go over. So you can see the recent hashtags here. You can see all of the hashtags that have happened. I think this is in the last week is what we query for. So you can go into announcements. You can see all of the posts that have the hashtag announcement, all of the posts that have the hashtag dash, etc. Okay, awesome. And you can see who you're following. You can even click in here and you can see who Joel is following. So we can go in there and you can see these are the people that he's following. You can see Pasta isn't following anyone, but he has 5 followers. You can click in there. Super cool, super fun, right? Amazing. Okay, a couple more things. You can go into your profile page. Here you can see all of your posts, which is super cool. You can also edit your profile here. You can change your things. Apparently location and website aren't actually persisting into the contract. I need to fix that apparently. But we can say there's a demo account too, and we can change our avatar. Let's look at our options here. I don't like any of these. Let's change them. This guy feels like he has some spunk. We'll go with him. So we can save that avatar. Cool. And we can save our profile to save the account too. And we can go back to our main page and you can see that stuff persisted. And everyone will see that avatar and my new profile name now. All right. I'm going to do something behind the scenes really quick and send myself a message. Actually, I won't. Yeah, I will. Okay. So I'm going to send myself a message. So just give me 1 second here. All right. That should have gone through. So messages, like I talked about, work. So we can look at messages. It'll load, and you can see test user test sent me a message. We can click in there and see that he said hello. All right, so I'm going to go ahead and send another message from that same user. And I'm not going to see it because it's in the background, but you guys should see I'm going to send in 3, 2, 1, press send on the other user. It's taking a second to load. It's sent for the other user, and it's loaded for our primary user. Look at that. That's amazing. So it will query in the background every couple of seconds the conversation that you're on to check if there are any new messages that you need to look at. And you can send messages, of course. And it'll take a second or so to send. And amazing. It also has read receipts. So if I go back to my original user and I look at the message and see that it's read, I don't know if this updates automatically. I think it's just new messages. If I reload this, in theory, it should show read receipts, but maybe something's broken there. Or maybe I have to reload the page. Let's see. Okay, I think I should see it now. Okay, boom, red. So it looks like there's some bug in the state where I had to reload the page on the other side for the read receipt to get set, but read receipts also work, which is cool. Bookmarks, profiles, settings, we showed all of that off for the most part. Is there anything that anyone thinks that I forgot to show off? Okay. Final thing, I'm going to look at Platform Explorer one more time, and we're going to try to look at some of the messages. So that's a hashtag. Let's try again. So this was a read receipt, probably. I think one of these is probably. All right, so you can see the message is just a conversation ID, which is a short hash of the people conversing. It's a short 10-byte hash to not use too much space. But we can tell based on the author if it's actually relevant to us. So even if there is a collision here, it doesn't really matter. And then the encrypted content. So you can see here, there's just encrypted data. You can't really tell what's going on here. There's nothing interesting to see besides that, this identifier sent a message in this conversation. And with this conversation, you would be able to see the other people, the other person that is there. And then here you can see the read receipt, and we do document replaces on read receipts. And we just set for the conversation ID the last time that it was read. So that is basically a wrap. Let's go ahead and reload this page one more time. And let's just send a thanks, Joelle, post to Joelle. And then I think we can call that a wrap.
Thank you very
Of course, the
much.
final action is an issue.
All right.
Anyway,
Let's start with the question. Let's start the Q&A. All right. I see several questions. So Digital Cash Networks asks, what options are on the table for private transitions in the future? I believe that's the beginning of the presentation.
Sure. I'm guessing he's talking about platform addresses.
Yes.
So many options on the table. I don't really want to, I would like to keep some mystery there because, we haven't even started the research on it. And we will be doing research on it this year a lot. I just can't make promises before I know more. So we'll dive deep into it at some point this year. That's all.
All right. Thank you, Mr. Mysterious. Wonken asks, when is Dash Pay on iOS currently expected to launch?
So the thing that I said 2 weeks ago is exactly the same thing as now, and as well as, if I just open, I feel at least like there's this narrative brewing that there are delays, but if I go back in time, the times are the same. So I will read a message that I wrote on, let's see, December 21st. I posted in Discord 40% February, 40% March, 15% April, 5% May in my mind. And that has not changed. So
Thank you very
we're
much.
still at that. In 2 weeks ago, I talked about the optimistic, not a deadline, but we could have it in February, we could have it in March, and it's pretty much nothing's changed.
Thank you. Thank you.
There's been a lot of good progress there as well. But and the iOS developer that will start on the iOS side has not started work yet. He will start on the 15th of January. Right now, the part that was actually the pain point was Dash SPV, and we saw a good update on that today.
Thank you. So Digital Cash Networks work asks, how risky is it for a user to generate their keys / seed from the bridge? For example,
Yeah.
can we recommend new user create their keys there and then import their seed into DashPay from there?
Yeah. Well, I would definitely say, right, like the security level for everyone is different, right? Different users have different, right? Like there's a big difference between, having a hardware wallet and generating a wallet on your phone and using MetaMask, right? Those are very different levels of security, and users should think about it in that way. Um, with that said, all operations on the bridge happen locally on your device. If you are trusting the code that you're downloading, then everything is okay. But it's important to acknowledge that when you are using bridge.deposita.org, you are trusting your DNS provider, you are trusting Cloudflare, you are trusting GitHub Pages, right? Like there are layers of trust in there. Realistically, that's probably fine. You're also trusting that your browser doesn't have any sketchy extensions that's going to steal it, right? Like there are layers of trust that you need to be taking when you're generating something like that in the browser. But that doesn't necessarily mean that it is inherently problematic or insecure. But it is something that you should be thinking about. Ultimately, right, I can't say what is or isn't kind of acceptable for any given user. Right, I can just talk about what kind of the facts of the situation are, and that everything happens locally as long as the code that you're running is the code that you should be running.
All right, thank you. What was the cost to the identity doing all these transitions in Yapper, I believe?
Yeah, so that's a very good question. So if I just go to the identity that we were using, so it started out with 1 dash in credits, and it ended with 0.79, with the vast majority of that being spent for the contested username, right? I believe the two username operations took uh, quite a bit of that. And then there's
Yeah,
so
contested
typically
0.2 dash. So
okay. Typically I've been seeing that each transition takes about 3 cents. So every post, every like, um, takes a couple of cents, around 3 cents. Read receipts are a little bit lower; they're closer to 1 cent.
Thank you. Could Yapper be configured to enable payments to DashPay, to DashPay contacts, for example, privately on the core chain?
But privately, is an interesting thing. I mean, we could recreate DashPay, right? DashPay is just a contract for deriving keys based on connections. We could implement that. And then if you are following someone and they follow you, like maybe implicitly behind the scenes, there's some stuff happening there, and you can get keys to send them stuff. But practically, what it would look like more likely is just to have kind of a static tip address or something like that, and say that people can, tip you and that it is kind of visible. But there are definitely ways to do it, but it would look something like DashPay, where there probably has to be a connection that happens. Or you would have to use something like stealth addresses, but that creates a lot of problems for detecting the receipt by kind of the user. Um, if you have something like DMs, you could, send to a there are ways to do it. I don't think any of them that come to the top of my head have like perfect UX of, it's just there's a button, you send it, no one knows that you sent it, but the recipient sees it very easily, right? Like, there are ways to do it, but there are some trade-offs.
Can Yapper be made less expensive? For example, use fewer/more efficient transitions.
So, I mean, this was a like big focus, right? I redid the whole um like subsystem for the DMs to be a lot more efficient, and it reduced fees by something around 3 times. Um, it's something I would have to spend more time on to have a like good answer for. I know, for example, like the content fields we're just saving as strings. I don't know if that's the most efficient way to do it, right? Like you could imagine a scheme where you kind of like tokenize things and you basically do a kind of compression based on what people typically send on something like Yapper, and maybe, thanks Joel turns into 3784 1875, right? Like you could imagine a scheme where instead of, the raw data, you kind of tokenize them, and maybe you are able to kind of basically do some compression via that. But that would definitely be something that would be like a research topic more so. There's also options. I would have to talk with Sam to like figure out how exactly all of the fees works. For example, it might make sense to only index on the first 10 bytes of a post ID or something like that. And so when you generate a like, you only index on those first 10 bytes, but then you include the rest of it to basically resolve any conflicts that you get and make sure that you're proper. But I don't actually know if there's a fee
I won't.
difference between
I
32
won't.
bytes indexed and 10 bytes indexed and 22 bytes not indexed. So,
It's so
um,
small that it won't matter.
yeah. So, for the
Like
most
we're
part,
talking about like, 1/1,000,000th of a penny, right? Let's not go crazy here. The big fees are going to probably be on the big fee improvements. I saw that you did some like advanced features that probably you made like for example, the likes that you have, right? Each one of those are a document. Um there might be some stuff there that we could do that um basically condenses likes. I'm not sure.
All right.
yeah.
There was some advanced features, also like the trending topics. I'm not sure how you did that, but I'm going to guess you did it just by like how did you do the trending topics?
Yeah, we basically query the hashtag document. When you make a post with a hashtag, you send the post itself, and then you basically register a new document that links the hashtag to that document. And so we have a separate index on all like the hashtags. And so we basically
Yeah.
fetch all the hashtags for the last like 7 days right now, which obviously would
Yeah.
be very expensive to do on a, million post a day type thing.
Yeah,
Or
so for
probably
example,
not
this
feasible.
yeah. No, no, no. But it's a good first step, right? And you did it with
Exactly.
what you had, right? So the trending topic needs a new feature in Grove DB that basically the having trees that I had started on, back in July, but then I realized, okay, we have a lot more important things to get out first. But
Yeah.
yeah, basically like that I figured out how to do it. I just never did it because, well, not needed. But that is one of the things where we'll save on fees, and some of these more advanced features when we really have the need for them.
Yeah. And that's one of those things that I want to like mention is Yapper is by its kind of essence an experimental product. And when I say experiment, it's not just that like it's a work in progress. It's that its purpose is to figure out where the pain points are. right? There have been probably 3 or 4 PRs that I've made to the WASM or EVO or RSDPP, FFI layers in the platform project recently to improve various things in the SDK and the user and like the developer or user experience. Because some things that feel like they should be possible just aren't really possible yet, and we need to resolve that. And then some things either in theory work, but don't actually, or we need to improve them in some way or another, right? And so as part of this experiment, it's figuring out, hey, here's all the things that we want to do in a production product. How can we do them? And what changes do we need to make to support that?
Yeah, for sure. I'm sure in 3.1 we're going to add, some improvements that will improve Yapper as well. Like basically take your feedback and write some features. So
Yeah.
I think better there.
Yeah, because already there are ways where the following feed could be significantly improved with a Grove DB feature. I was able to make it work quite well with kind of what we have, but there are some Grove DB features that would allow us to basically get it down to one query and get everything that we need. Right now, we kind of have to make an educated guess, and then we make that query, and basically it might fail, and we might have to change some of our parameters based on the response that we get. But yeah, anyway, Balash, back to you.
All right, so last question. Can DashPay wallet be made to register credit transfer keys upon wallet creation so they are compatible with other wallets like the extension for credit/token transfer?
I mean, I can speak briefly at a high level that, I mean, we're definitely going to be integrating various platform address features and probably even some Yapper related functions in the wallets. I won't speak to a technical level. I don't know all the technical specifics, but I don't see any reason why those integrations can't happen.
So one final thing I had seen, I saw a comment earlier from Joel in the chat that he tried to DM Quantum and couldn't. There's a interesting technical reason for that. Sam only has hash 160 keys on his testnet identity. If you have a hash 160 key, it's almost like a privacy mechanism for DMs. With how the shared secrets work, the other person needs an actual public key. And so you can't start a DM to them because you can't properly encrypt it because he has no public key that you can use. He only has hashes of public keys present.
Wait,
Um,
quick question. Are you using the contract bounded keys?
I don't think that's a thing yet.
Oh no, that is a thing. I guess you just don't know about it. Yeah,
Maybe.
for encryption between you're not supposed to use the authentication keys. You're supposed to use the encryption keys to use encryption between users on a contract because you don't want to reuse like you don't want to reuse the same key between different apps basically because one app developer might make a mistake and then leak a key. So you should be using contract bounded keys. But, not
Yeah,
here.
interesting. We'll talk more about that later. We don't use the raw key itself. We use it for ECDH and generating a shared secret.
Yeah, it makes sense.
But right, because he has no public keys, there's no way for you to encrypt that message, and so it should not let you message him. But Sam could start a DM to you. And actually, I believe when you go to start a DM with him, you're creating, I believe the UI does this, you're creating a conversation invite. And so like if Sam created a conversation invite to you, you would be able to send messages to him because he would have shared with you the actual public key to use. So that was just an interesting kind of technical point I wanted to mention.
Thank you very much. And that was the last question. So thanks for being here. I believe that's a wrap. See you in 2 weeks. Less than 2 weeks, hopefully. All right. Thank you, guys. Bye-bye.